So welcome to today's IEP Live Learn Lunch for this session that's going to be focusing on the benefits of IEP membership. Today is our 57th Live Learn Lunch, so it's the 57th webinar in our series, so it's well established now, but it also seems like only yesterday we did our first Live Learn Lunch, so it's exciting for me to be here with you today delivering this session. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to be looking at some of the benefits of IEP membership and hopefully answering any questions that you may have. So please do feel free, as I've said, to use the chat function in order to ask any questions that you have, and I can either answer them at the end or as I see them. Or if you would like to unmute yourselves and ask a question when we're looking at any of the content, that's absolutely fine too. So I'm just going to stop my video to protect the bandwidth now, but I will, when I'm answering questions later, switch my video back on to join you. Okay, so hopefully, I guess I should start just by checking that you are all able to see my screen. I think you can. I'm just checking on my spare screen. You should be able to see my screen. So what we're going to be looking at today is the benefits for IEP members. Now, what I don't know with the group is I'm not really sure of the mix of people attending today, whether you already have IEP individual membership, so you have full membership, or whether you are members via your company, so you may have affiliate membership. So do go ahead and pop that in the chat, and it might help me sort of position some of the way I explain some of the benefits as we move through. So there's different types of membership, and sometimes people do get a little bit confused about it, but the simplest way to explain it is our affiliate members are members who work for an organisation that is a corporate affiliate member of the IEP, and through that they qualify for membership, and that membership comes with some benefits, but it doesn't come with all of the benefits of IEP membership. And then we also have what I would term as individual members, but that doesn't mean you haven't joined through your organisation. You may have joined as an affiliate, but upgraded to what we either call associate member level or member, or even fellows. Now, associates are the members that we have that are maybe new to the sector and haven't worked in the sector for long, so they want to join and develop their skills and their knowledge of the sector as part of the IEP. And then we have members who are more experienced, and we would expect members will have completed a sector induction, and they will have completed some level of training. It could be in-house training, or it could be recognised sector training, and we'll look at that later. And I can see from the comments that we have affiliate members attending today, which is great. So I can explain what some of the benefits might be for you of upgrading, and I can tell you what the costs would be involved in that as we move along, but we'll look at that later. And I can see that we also have people who aren't members at the moment. So hopefully you will be considering joining us as a member at the end of this session. So yeah, please do ask as many questions as you would like as we go along, and I'll be happy to do that. So I'm going to jump right in, as we've got about half an hour, as I've said, and I'm going to start to tell you about, and I will sort of point out whether these are what membership levels these apply to. The first few that we're going to be looking at apply to all members, whether you're an affiliate member like Susan, or whether you're not a member at the moment, as Libby isn't. So the first one that I'm going to talk about today is what we call our EP newsletter, or the Employability Professional Newsletter. Now, this is our weekly newsletter that is sent out via an email across all of our members, and we've got about 9,000 people, practitioners across the sector, who receive this e-bulletin, and it is filled with sector relevant content and expert information, and it's developed in partnership with ourselves and our corporate members and our strategic partners from around the sector. It helps practitioners or people working within the sector keep up with what's going on. So there's content in there around what's happening on different programs across the sector, what initiatives are happening across the sector, what training there is, you name it, it's in there if it's happening in the sector. And it's an excellent resource for sharing best practice. So we do encourage people to make, when you're having a cup of tea on a Monday when it's come out, or whenever you have a moment to have a read through. It's great because you can click on links and read further if you want. So you can glance through it and look at the topics and think about which are most relevant for you, and then click in when you have time and look at that in more detail. So that's the Employability Professional newsletter that comes out every Monday. On a Wednesday, we have our Learning Network e-bulletin. Now, this Learning Network e-bulletin is in its 54th edition this week, and it was started just about a year ago, and it won't be a surprise to hear for those of you on the session today that we started developing this e-bulletin as a response to the coronavirus pandemic. We went into lockdown and we wanted something that we could do with our members, for our members, to keep our network together. I know, I don't know how it was for some of you, but for me, it was a very scary time going into lockdown, felt quite isolating. And I really wanted to do something for members that would keep us occupied, but also make us feel like we were part of a group. So the Learning Network publishes what events we have coming up, and it also has content in there around things that we can do during lockdown, or learning opportunities that we can progress as we work from home or within our house. We also have something in there for families every week. So we have a kids corner, as I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, I have a young daughter, so I'm always on the lookout, especially during lockdown, for activities for her to do. So we always share some activities for children as well, and they always have a focus on learning, because after all, learning and development is what the IEP is all about. At the same time, we launched the IEP LiveLearnLunch, which is a series of webinars that are interactive wherever possible, and presented by people from within the sector. So today you've got myself, and I'm usually on it. Well, I am on every single LiveLearnLunch, but I normally take more of a back seat, and I bring experts in from around the sector to deliver learning on not just sector related, but often sector related topics, but sometimes around personal development for ourselves as well. So it could be around mental health and resilience in the workplace. It could be around keeping fit. We've had fitness experts join us to do exercise that we could do at home during lockdown. We also have Learn with Fellows, where we draw our most experienced members, the fellows, in to deliver really sector relevant and topical content and learning interventions for our members. So you name it, we do it. And one of the things I always encourage our members to do is to contact me and let me know what they would like to see as part of the LiveLearnLunch series. And once I know what people want, I make sure that we schedule it. So that's the LiveLearnLunch. And then we have the IEP Knowledge Bank, which is an area on our website where you can go and read articles and research that's been produced by the sector for the sector. It's a searchable database, and it has guides and best practice in there. It contains numerous articles on many employability topics, and the ability to search through a vast amount of relevant information is often invaluable for our members and for practitioners. It's a great way of doing some CPD, but it's also a great way of increasing your knowledge in key areas. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat. If I'm going too fast, or if you'd like to ask questions about any of those areas, please do so, and I'm happy to do that. But these key areas that I've just mentioned here, these are sort of our core key benefits that you will find as an IEP member you have access to. So I'm going to move on now, as I've not seen any questions come in at the moment. So hopefully I've explained everything nice and clearly. And what we're going to look at next is a little bit more around learning with the IEP. Now, as you know, the IEP is the professional body representing employability professionals from around the sector. And what we are also looking to do, and as I've said earlier, is really support learning and continue professional development for our members. And we want members, and we want employability professionals, wherever they are, whatever organisation they're working for, whatever job role they're in, to be the best that they can be when working with the participants who make use of the sector's resources. And as part of that, we've worked with organisations, leading organisations and L&D professionals from around the sector to develop some accredited learning that is now available. The first of which, here's our pathway. What we want is, we want the employability sector to be seen as a career choice. We want people to join. I'm not sure about the people on the call today, but I sort of accidentally came to the employability sector. Somebody I knew worked in the employability sector. And they contacted me and said, you would love it. I used to work in recruitment and I loved finding people jobs, but there were a few areas of that role that I wasn't that keen on. And somebody got in touch with me and said, oh, you would love the employability sector. You need to come and work for the sector. And that's what I did. And I speak to lots of people from around the sector, and they often tell me that they did the same thing. And one of our goals at the IEP is to change that mindset so people are aware of our sector, but see it as a career rather than a job at the time. Now, there's challenges for our sector with that, because the sector grows and the sector shrinks depending on factors such as employment rates and unemployment rates. But we still think that this is it's a great career, and we want the good people, or the great people that join the sector, to stay with us. So we've been working with leaders from the sector to put together a career pathway, and you'll see on the screen that career pathway here. So we have at level 2 an IEP accredited sector induction. And this sector induction is completion of this confirms that the holder has gained relevant knowledge required to operate in the employability sector, as recommended by the IEP. The modules are all CPD accredited and are designed to provide knowledge all around of the aspects and practice for those who want a career in the sector. It is all e-learning, and so it can be completed online, and it is completed via the IEP's own learning management system. So it's available as part of membership, individual membership. So if you are an IEP member, associate level or member, you can request and be given access and enrolled on the IEP accredited sector induction. It was developed in partnership with the CTEC Plus, and also with a development partner company called To Simply Learn. It's got some great content in there, and it has all of the information. It starts at the very beginning with the role and the history of the sector. It looks at the customer or the participant journey of a typical participant. It looks at some of the barriers and obstacles that individuals may face in accessing the labour market. It looks at all sorts of issues. It looks at coaching and how to develop coaching skills. It looks at quality assurance, you name it. There's the basic information to get a good grounding in the sector is included in that level 2 induction. And more details of that are available on request from the IEP, should anyone want to ask for them. Once somebody has got that entry-level knowledge under the belt and is developing their practice, we've recently launched a certificate in employability practice, which is currently being offered by a small number, well, a growing number of organisations. And this is a level 3. So rather than focusing on knowledge, this now starts to look at not just building knowledge, but applying that knowledge in practice. So it looks at how we work with participants on programmes. Now, this is a 6 to 12 month programme, depending on the speed with which the learner undertakes the learning. It's very hands-on, so it's blended learning. So there are e-learning elements, there are work-focused learning elements where that e-learning knowledge is then applied in the workplace, and the learner has time to apply and consolidate the learning, really reflect on what they've done and how it's worked. And then we have elements of social and collaborative learning involved as well. So practitioners come together to talk about best practice, what has worked, what worked the way they expected, what didn't work the way they expected, what they're going to do next time, what have they learned from completing each unit of learning. It's 4 units. It starts with looking at contracting, action planning and caseload management. It moves on to interpersonal and coaching and facilitation skills. Then it focuses on supporting ethical and informed decision making. And finally, there's a unit that really focuses on finding and competing for work in 2021 in that post-COVID practice. What does the world look like now when you are accessing the labour market, which is different to how it looked before? I know, you know, some of us have had to attend video interviews. You know, there's all of these different things. How do you network virtually? How do you, you know, what happens about job fairs? How do you access that kind of information? So that's all in there. Now this is a product, this is a qualification that some organizations are starting to deliver right now. So if it's something that you're interested in, again, get in touch with the IEP and we can let you know who is delivering it and how to access that qualification. And then at level 4, we have the Employability Practitioner Apprenticeship Standard. And this is for advanced practice. So these are, we would expect these to be caseloaded practitioners that have been in the sector for longer. It's a 2-year apprenticeship, and you know, it's about that advanced practice. So it focuses on key skills, knowledge and behaviours that experience is built, and then there is an endpoint assessment at the end of it. So I'm aware I've just talked quite a lot about qualifications there. So I'm just going to pause just for a second and ask if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask around that. I've said that, and now I will just give you a second just to either let me know in chat or unmute yourself if anyone would like to ask about that. It's important in saying at this point, while I'm waiting to see that all of the training here has been developed by working in partnership, as I've said earlier, with sector leaders and thought leaders, and identifying what works and identifying best practice, and the IEP has worked with them to sort of lead that. So I've not seen any questions come in there, so that's great. I've just, as I went to move on, then a question, I did see the flash. So are there any entry requirements to take part in the level 4 apprenticeship? No, there aren't, Rob. That's a really good question. No, you don't have to complete the level 2 and level 3 to complete the Employability Practitioner Apprenticeship Standard. And it, depending on what organisation you work for, obviously you can draw down levy funding to complete it. So no, there aren't. There is an advantage to having completed at least, I would say, the level 2 IEP accredited sector induction. So I would really recommend that, but you don't have to follow that. You don't have to do each of those qualifications. You could complete the level 4 in isolation. That said, I'd really recommend I'd recommend everyone in the sector to complete the level 2, because as I say, it's got the information in. When I joined the sector, I wish I'd known when I joined the sector. So it explains some of the things that often people assume that you know. It explains some of the acronyms, it explains how contracts are awarded, it explains all sorts of things. Not awarded, sorry, how the terminology of contracts and the difference between mandatory attendance and voluntary attendance and those kind of things. So hopefully that answers that question for you. So we've had really positive feedback for the accredited learning, particularly with the level 3 induction. We're finding we've got brand new people to the sector completing the induction at the moment, and we also have more experienced learners or practitioners completing the induction, and we've got lots of feedback that even though people have been in the sector a long time, they've learned things from the sector induction, which is the whole purpose of CPD and learning. So it's really great to hear. But as I say, we do have brochures on all of those, so after this session, if you'd like to read this in more detail, I'll happily send those out for you. So now I'm going to move on to some of the benefits that are more specific to individual members, those associate members or members of the IEP. So the first one I wanted to focus on is networking. Now, obviously, this has been somewhat of a challenge over the past 12 months because of COVID, but we do still run networking events, and we do this via your Zoom or Teams, depending on what we're doing. And we have live learn lunches like this. It's more of a webinar, but we also run sessions where people can come and attend and meet other members, and just talk about what's going on in the sector, talk about whatever they want to talk about, and explore the things that are important to them. In happier times, when we're not working under restrictions, we also have regional networking events that members are invited to attend. And we also have, often we have dinners. We'll have like fellows dinners where fellows meet and chat about things that are going on maybe at the sort of strategic level of membership. And really, we're hoping to return to this as soon as we can. We also have a IEP summit, which takes place once a year, where people can come along and listen to keynote speakers and do some networking and ask any questions they have around where the sector's headed, what are the challenges of the sector. And those are great too. And we have a digital, we call it the Digital Technology Conference. And again, that's exactly the same, but it's all done virtually. So once a year, we run a technology conference where you come along via Zoom, you pick which events you want to attend, you come, you listen to someone speak, and then we have networking sessions so you can have a good chat with other people about what they thought about that content. And that will be taking place in September. So keep an eye out for that. I'd love to see you attend that. And again, it's a really good way of networking and talking to your peers. We have also as well members for members, and this is an opportunity for us to bring our members together. There's a vast array of knowledge and expertise existing within the IEP membership, and what we look to do is encourage links between IEP members to share that experience and mentor each other. So if that's something that you would be interested in taking part with, if you're a member, you contact the IEP and we look to put you in touch with someone who would be the right mentor for you. We have a members only website area. So if you visit My IEP, the website, you will be able to access the if you are a member, you have access to it. And we have more information in there. So there is, you can record your CPD, you can access the learning management system, and you can access more in-depth reviews. Now, excuse me just a second, I'm just going to clear my throat. So that's there for our members. The IEP journal is published 3 times a year. And again, this comes from sector senior leaders around the sector. And we publish this, and it talks about all sorts of things we need to know about what's going on at all types of levels of the sector. It is available and you can access it via our website. Oh, and professional credentials. Yeah, so post-nominals. By joining the IEP, you're demonstrating a commitment to your own personal professional development within the sector. And the reason we have the different tiers of membership is to really demonstrate levels of experience and practice and engagement. So we offer to members, only to members that are individual members, the use of, they have a certificate that you can have a certificate that's printed off and sent, you can print off yourself from the website, sorry, but you also have the use of post-nominals. So what I mean by post-nominals are those letters that people have after their names. So associates are able to put AIEP after their names. The members are able to put MIEP after their names, and then finally fellows are able to put FIEP after their name. So it just demonstrates, and people from around the sector are able to identify that sort of level of capability and competence and experience by understanding what level you have. If you're joining the IEP as an associate level, there are steps that you can take in order to work up to member. So you can complete the IEP sector induction, start to start to manage a caseload. We ask when people register to provide a reference and an outline of their experience. And once you feel you've met the criteria to move up to member, you can get in touch and sort of put your case forward and say, these are the things that I've completed, and this is the reason I think I'm now ready for membership. So for example, if you completed the certificate in employability practice, you're managing a caseload successfully, you might think that, I'm ready to move up to member, so you can contact us and we're able to do that. So again, I'll just pause slightly. I'll just have a look at the chat. I'm not seeing any questions at the moment, but please do, as I've said, interrupt and let me know if you think of anything you would like to ask. Okay. So another benefit of membership is our community groups. So we have what we call Social Link, and it can be used as an app, or it can be used. You can go into the community groups via the website. You can log in using your username and password, your credentials. That's the word I'm searching for. And you can engage with different groups that are set up on there. So there's regional groups based on where you are in the country, but we can also set up different groups. So for example, if you work for a housing association, we can set up groups that allow you to meet other practitioners from within housing associations that are operating within the employability sector. And there is an app, a free app called Social Link, that allows you to do this. And what I say to members, what I constantly encourage members is, let me know if you're part of a group or if there's a group you would like us to set up. We're really open to doing that. We're very much about networking, bringing people together, and sharing best practice and experience, supporting each other, and making sure that the service we deliver to all of the participants on the various programs is the best that it can be. And that's a really good way of doing it. I know it's great to sort of have the community within our companies or within our separate organisations, but there's a lot to be said to reaching out and finding out what different people doing, maybe in different parts of the country, and how that's working for them. There's also partner discounts. So we work in partnership with various organisations such as URSA and AELP. And when they put on webinars or chargeable events, our members qualify for discounts for that as well. So it's always worth having a look at those and thinking, if there's anything going on around the sector, if there's a conference or a e-conference that you want to attend, could you get a discount to that via your IEP membership? We have the IEP jobs board. Now, this is a jobs board that jobs within the sector are posted on. So it's not a jobs board for using with your customers per se. It's more about, different roles that are available around the sector. So it may be that you're in an advisor role at the moment and you're thinking of moving into a different type of role, or you want to see what's out there. That can be accessed through the IEP jobs board. It's filled with different exciting opportunities, and it's a diverse and fast moving sector at the moment, so it's really worth having a look, because it's not just about vertical career progression. There's opportunities for horizontal career progression, and as I've said, we're all about keeping talent within the sector. And it may be the role you're in right now might not be the role you want to do forever, or it may be that you want to try different roles within the sector in order to get that wealth of experience or that breadth of experience. So that's another benefit for our members. Members also are able to record and print off an annual CPD certificate. So there's an area in the members area where you can go in, and from attending today, you can go in and you can say, if you're a full member, I attended today's LiveLearnLunch, so I want to record that as CPD because I've been learning about the benefits of this type of membership and how I can go about meeting other people. Different activities have different CPD points, and you just go in, in your account, you find what it is you're looking for, and then you record it, and it will keep track of that for you. And each year then you're able to print that certificate off that demonstrates that you have conducted CPD and you've logged it through your membership of the professional body. And you can do all of this sort of stuff that's in there that we've been talking about. You could record. So if you're contributing to the community groups, you can record that. If you're attending the networking sessions, not just the LiveLearn lunches, you can record that. If you undertake any training, not just the IEP accredited training, but absolutely any training, you can record that. We also run a program where we work with providers of training to endorse the training that they deliver, and you can record that as well if you've attended any of those programs. So it's a really good tool for those of you who need to keep track of your CPD activity. I know many of us do. It's something that I have to do. And then the one last one that I'm going to talk about at the moment is a really important one, actually. It also gives you, full membership also gives you the opportunity to both stand for election to the board of directors of the IEP or vote for who those directors should be. So we do have a board of directors. You can see who those people are. They come from within the sector. They're all members of the IEP themselves at various levels, from member up through fellow. And they work with us to set those standards, to make sure that we're delivering what we need to as a professional body for our membership base. And the more varied backgrounds they come from, the better. So it's a key one for me, and we really do encourage all our members to vote in those elections. It's done, you know, we write to all the members and we send out information on who the people standing for election are, where they come from, a blurb on who they are, and then we vote and we decide who the board is going to be. So I'm very passionate about voting, whether it's for the IEP, so or any voting. So that's for me, I think is a great bonus as well. So that's a brief overview of the benefits of IEP membership. Obviously, each of those areas I could talk for longer about, but that's just to give you a sort of brief overview of the things that you can do. I just wonder at this stage if anyone wants to or is brave enough to come off silent and ask a question or pop their video back on. Do we have any of you that would like to ask any questions at this stage? Oh, I heard something then. Someone's come off. Rob, is that you?
Hi, yes. Hi, Helen.
Hello, Rob.
Hello. Have you got a presentation that is aimed at new entrants to the sector who might be thinking about becoming individual members and undertaking the induction training or possibly the level 3? Have you got a presentation, or do you do regular webinars for people in that situation? Because with the restart coming, I'm expecting that there will be a large amount of recruitment in the sector, and a presentation for that cohort might be really useful.
Yeah, we have done before. We've done a section, we've done a webinar before, and I think it's on our YouTube channel. I'll double check. Most of them are, but we have run sessions before where we've just focused on, and I've got some slides. I haven't gone through them today because there's quite a lot, but all of the content, in fact, I can probably show you. It's not going to work. Oh, there you go. So and what we can do is take people through here is a list of all of the content that's in the induction, so you get an understanding of what's in there. And we've run sessions to do that. We can also put sessions on if we've got enough people. So yeah, get in touch and let me know. What I didn't want to do was just read all of these slides to you today, because as you can see, you know, it's quite extensive, but absolutely yes. And we've done the same thing for the certificate. So I've said briefly today, here are the 4 modules. But, you know, yes, absolutely we can, if we have the requirements to. So periodically we do a session like this. Today is around member benefits, but yeah, we do an introduction to learning with the IEP where we can answer anyone's questions. So I would say email me. You can see my email address on the screen there. That's one of them that you'll get me on. And we can either do a specialist one or keep an eye on the e-learning, the Learning Network e-bulletin. because that always has what's coming up in the program, and it will tell you when we have a session on. But if it's going to be too long till the next one, we can always sort out a session where we do this and you know, take people through.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much. Yeah,
excellent, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, have we got any other questions today? Nothing's coming through. I must have really explained myself well. Well, let's hope, fingers crossed, that is what I have done today. Susan says no, thanks. Thank you. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do just before I leave you then is for those of you, I know we've got people on today who aren't members. So it'd be interesting to know how you found out today about the IEP Live Learn Lunch. It's brilliant to have people on, and that's exactly what we want. I'm just going to tell you a few of the sessions that we've got coming up over the next few weeks, and please do go back to the website or use whatever links you did in order to enroll on them if you think they might be of interest to you. Next week, we have RNIB who are joining us for the third in our series of Seeing Opportunities webinars. And at this webinar, we'll be looking at how to get to know assistive technology. So there's lots of technology out there to help people who suffer from sight loss. And we're going to be exploring the main assistive technologies that are out there, and we'll be discussing how you can access them and how you can make sure you've got the right tools at your disposal if you're an advisor supporting people with issues with sight loss. The following week, on the 21st of April, we've got Bounce Australia joining us, and we're going to be looking at harnessing the power of motivation. The chief, one of the founders, Maria Smith, will be joining us to explore the different levels of motivation and understand why some people are able to get themselves up and going while others find it difficult or are happy to sit in bed for a whole day watching Netflix. Oh, that sounds, as a parent, that sounds like a dream. It's going to be a long time till I'm able to do that again, I think. The following week, on the 28th, we have Career Map joining us. I'm really excited about this one. It's a challenge, as we know, to know everything about every sector, but in the employability sector, often we have to. And we're going to be joined by Career Maps editor of their Career Mag publication, and the topic is, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, and she's going to take us through what she does or how she approaches finding out about a sector when she's got no knowledge. So she knows how to get to information quickly, and she's going to be sharing her experience of how to do that. So definitely one I'm going to be looking to enroll on. And then and that takes us through April, but in May we have webinars on the power of positive mindset. We have some more Seeing Opportunities. We're also going to be joined by the Good Employability Company, who are going to look at what do we know about advice that works and what is the evidence for this, the worldwide evidence that's been brought in. So how do we know that something's good and how do we know it works? And we're also going to be doing a webinar around taking risks and doing good, and thinking about who do we help and who do we harm. I can go on and on and on. We've got so much coming up, and I'm aware I said I'd take up about half an hour of your time today. So do keep an eye out for the e-learning bulletin. If you don't receive the Learning Network at the moment and someone forwarded you the link for today, my email is helen.lee@iemployability.org, or you can get hold of me on the one that's on the screen at the moment, which is learning@iemployability.org. Please do enroll on that. It would be wonderful to see you all on future sessions. And also let me know, is there anything you'd like to see on an IEP Live Learn Lunch? Because it's all about making sure we put these webinars where you come and you learn skills or you learn information that helps you improve your practice as an employability professional. So my inbox is always open to suggestions, and they're really welcome. But as we've finished today's session, thank you very much for attending, and I look forward to seeing you on a future session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You're very welcome. Hope to see you on another session.